G'day fellas and welcome to a casted Age of Mythology Retold game. Today we're on, I think this is Giza. I want to say Giza, which feels appropriate just considering, actually, are we on Giza? Let's double check. We can check right now. We're on Giza, which feels appropriate because we have got ourselves a little bit of an Egyptian mirror, but don't worry. I can already feel your sighs of relief because this isn't a mirror per se. We've got the same civ, but different gods. Let's get into it. Spawning in the east of the map, representing the DOD clan, in the color blue, playing as the Egyptians, in particular, playing as Ra. It is In Denial! And I gotta say, I didn't even realize his last game, like, not only is it a pun in the sense that, like, he's in denial, but he is in denial as well, because he's playing as the Egyptians, and he's playing on Giza, and he's playing Ra. Anyway, on the other side of the map, in the color red, playing as the Egyptians, also as Set, it's Flacco. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted AoM Retold game. I'm enjoying this so much. I'm having such a great time. Let's get into it, dissect these games a little bit, check out these opening build orders here. So, In Denial, going to be opening up with a lumber camp? Lumber camp? Are you serious, In Denial? You know, I've watched Boy play the Egyptians, and he hasn't needed a lumber camp until, like, the 12th minute, man. That's kind of wild. Let's check in on the other side of the map. It looks like we've got a 3 vills on gold opening here for Flacco, as well as plenty of vills over on the hunt. Now, keep in mind, he is playing Set. When it comes to AoM, obviously, you've got different god powers, but there's also a lot of other bonuses that go with it. And one of the big bonuses for Set, at least, is that you get access to the animals of Set, or is it the Gaia of Set, the fauna of Set? There's a specific term for it, but basically it means that you have access to animals that you can use if you want militaristically, but majority of the time it's going to make sense that you actually eat them. So here you can see we've got the baboon of Set, which has the ability to convert over a lot of goats or sheep early on, has the ability to scout, which is kind of important because when you're playing Set, you're going to be doing a lot of this in the early game. You're going to be converting over enemies. Now, well, sorry, not enemies, but rather neutral food units. Now, there's actually a hierarchy of what you want to be going for when you're playing Set. So the bigger the animal, the better it is. Now, the longer it's going to take for you to convert that animal. So as an example here, he's converting a hyena, and that's going to take significantly less time than it is to convert a rhinoceros. But the thing is that the amount of food that's on this rhinoceros is much greater than what we've got over here. But basically, I've run the numbers, and my determination is the bigger the animal, the better the return is on your priest. So you want to try and target those super duper big animals rather than going for the smaller ones on the map. But I think, like, you know, zebras as an example are probably a decent middle ground. 200 food, you know, it's not quite the 150, isn't all the way, like you can't get much higher than that, and it can be difficult to find rhinoceros. But age ups are going to be coming through shortly. We can see the food amounts for both of these players at the top of your screen. Now, in this case, we do actually have it flipped. Now, I can't fix this, but you'll see that we do have Flacco over here, who's on the left of our minimap. I'll actually make this a bit bigger. Who's on the left of our minimap, and he is on the right of our UI at the top here, and we've got In Denial, who's on the right of our minimap, and he is on the left of the UI. So that can be a bit confusing, so apologies in advance, but it'll be a bug that does get fixed eventually. All right, let's check in with the age up. So Flacco going to be starting off with Ptah. So the big focus here is going to be the Shaduf upgrade, which is going to reduce the cost on his farms. It's also going to reduce the time it takes to build those farms as well. And we can see he's already got plenty of vills, or plenty of laborers on gold. So he's going to be looking at setting up that second town center down on the settlement towards this bottom side. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we'll check in with In Denial and see how he is doing as the age up is coming through. And he's also going to be going with Ptah also, which is interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out, just simply because it doesn't really make sense for him to go into farms, but I guess by the same token, maybe he's looking to mirror what Ra is doing, because the most common thing that we see out of Ra, at least in old AoM, is going for this second town center and then building a lot of farms around it. But one of the things to note in Retold is that there's a lot more hunt out on the map now. So by investing resources into farms, you're almost cutting your nose off to spite your face. It's great that you're investing in that infrastructure, but you don't need it yet. You can come out here, grab this food. But it is obviously a lot safer. So we do start to see those upgrades coming through. Shaduf on the way for In Denial. If we take a look at Flacco, I don't know whether he's picked up this upgrade just yet. In fact, we can see, we'd probably need to see the actual, hold on a minute. Have a look at this. He's got, is he going for this second TC over here instead of going for the one out on the edge of the map? Is that the play that he's going for? He does have the rhinoceros nearby, but I think this is definitely the case. He's got to be going for this. And there it is. So the settlement. So it's a bit awkward because there's no resources in the bank, and he's placed it down, but we can't see that he's placed it down, so we don't know. But you can only just assume by the vills being out here. Still yet to move that over. And have a look at this. We got ourselves a little bit of a battle beginning to unfold over on the east side of the map. Look at this. Villagers get picked up and moved to settlement. Oh, this is so painful. Oh, well played right now from Flacco. This was a masterful position from him. So utilizing the myth unit, obviously the Wadjet was in here, but all these animals of set. So the rhinoceros was tanking up quite a bit. And you might be looking at that and thinking, okay, Drongo, in Age of Empires 4, if I'm building a town center and I've got 20 vills, I just stick it and it's going to come up automatically. Like, it'll come up maybe at half HP, but it will come up eventually. That's correct in Age of Empires 4. But in Age of Empires, or rather Age of Mythology Retold, it doesn't work that way. When the town center is under construction, it needs to reach 100%. It must reach 100% of its health to be constructed. And so you can see the issue here. If you're constructing a town center, and keep in mind you do take extra damage when you're under construction. Oh my. Oh, jeez. Interesting play here. So going for a one base instead. So he was denied the second town center. Instead opts for the one base play. So we'll just be looking to go to the heroic age on one base, which is definitely not the standard. Going to be a little bit faster than normal. So we do have it coming through. He's got the armory up already. So no issues with that age up timing. Yeah, just going back towards this secondary town center as the age up is going to be so back that he opts for. So what that means is that if you've got enemy units that are attacking your settlement while it's under construction, you have to outpace the damage that they're doing. Otherwise, it will never get up. And as a result, we do see that cancellation coming through on the town center that was out here on the settlement by In Denial, which was a smart move. And, you know, I'm just going to compliment him here because it takes a very, it takes a very comfortable player to be able to do that. You know, so many times I've been playing and in my head it's like, okay, I'm going for a second TC. The second TC gets denied and it's like, okay, I'm still going to try and find a way to get this second TC. In Denial says we're not going to do that. We might be in denial, but we're not in denial about the state of this game, and we're just going to stick it. So he does it, and so well played by him. Villager count is slowly growing in favor of Flacco though. Have a look at this. The villager count now up to 36 against 26. So he's already got that 10 worker lead at this stage of the game. Keep in mind that he is not on farms. So he did go into Ptah, and we did see him pick up the... Gosh, he's already got the age up through as well. What are we going into? We're going into Nephthys. So age up comes through on the side of In Denial. Looks to immediately start putting down that Migdal stronghold in the center of the map, protecting that gold. You've got to keep in mind, obviously, you've got gold in the base, but you want to try and source additional forms of gold or additional avenues of gold. So it just makes sense to start getting out here. Let's take a look at relics. We haven't actually had a look at them just yet. What do we got here? We've got myth units are more resistant to pierce damage. I'm going to say that this one's probably like a D tier on the relic list. We've got the Titan's Treasure, reduces the cost of advancing to the next age or researching secrets of the Titans, and that's a 10% reduction. That's pretty decent, and you're going to get returns on that all game. This would be really nice picked up early on if you could spot this out. I'm going to say this is probably around like a B tier. Definitely the gift that keeps on giving. And we've got Hecata's Torches, so God powers recharge faster and cost less favor. So it's a 10% reduction of time on the cooldown as well as on the cost. It's okay. I don't know if I'd call it, you know, it's probably like a solid C tier. And meanwhile, down towards that south side, we've got Nose of the Sphinx, which increases building hit points by 15%. So this one probably as well. So not particularly strong relics in this game. You know, there's no 10% cav HP. There's no 50% reduction of gold costs for your armory upgrades. Like those are some pretty crazy relics that you can get. But we enter into the 9th minute of this game, and now the battle has begun to unfold. The chariots together with the camels, making their way over towards the west side of the map, looking to do a bit of raiding here. Decent number advantage when it comes to the military power that we're seeing out of In Denial. So it definitely feels like he has been pigeonholed into playing a one-base style here. I'm curious to see whether he can do any damage, because that's what he's going to be looking to do. He's going to be looking to do as much damage as he can to villagers, try and bring that villager count, rein that in, because at the moment he's got a 15 villager deficit that he's going to need to make up. So naturally it makes sense for him to try and do as much economic damage as he can to mitigate the fact that his opponent is on that second town center. But keep in mind, we do have Shaduf in play. The transition over to farms, which is going to be necessary because your opponent's got a larger amount of units on the map compared to you. It just naturally makes sense. But have a look at this. It looks like we've got a siege tower coming out already. So we do have that siege works online. A couple more units moving towards the top. You can tell In Denial is very good. The fact that he just takes a couple of units and moves them up instead of his whole army, mad respect. But have a look at this. It might be a little bit of a game of chariots, it seems, as chariots going to be coming out on both sides here. Now, again, one of the other things to note is that, like, Retold, it's only just, you know, this is the first time. It's going to take a while for me to get up with the lingo, so I don't know if you guys call chariot archers chariots. To me, it just feels like the natural progression. But have a look at this, throwing away a couple of animals of set. I don't know how I feel about this. I just would have eaten these bad boys. They feel really good to eat. But it's going to take some time for him to soak through it. And have a look at this. The siege tower's already taken quite a bit of damage. A little bit of burning damage there as well. Get off the screen beater. Man, I tell you what. It's got like this annoying little box. It never really leaves like this central part. And it's so damn big. Meanwhile, a little bit of a raid on the backside. Locust also going to be coming through here. But towards the middle of the map, that's going to be our focus. As even the war elephant taking quite a bit of damage. The crocodile. I don't know. Do you call it a crocodile? It's probably a little bit easier than Pesukos? Oh my god, has he picked up the upgrade? Look at the range that he's got on that. Fire crocodile, laser crocodile. Where is he firing it from? I think he's firing it from the top right there. Slowly and steadily, he's got these siege towers that are doing some pretty decent damage soaking, or rather doing some decent work soaking up all of the incoming fire from his enemy. Good number of myth units out as well for him. But now it looks like the majority of the attack has been cleaned up on that backside, reuniting his units around the front side. 12 minutes into the game, and this town center, this single town center push coming out from In Denial is looking very solid here. Double crocodile on the back. Have a look at this. We can actually check if it's got the upgrades or not if we hit this button right here just quickly. Okay, so you can see that it doesn't have the upgrade. So there's an upgrade that you can get at your temple, which is going to upgrade your crocodiles. I think it gives them a little bit of extra range, a little bit of extra health, that sort of thing. But already they've got some pretty crazy range on them here. It definitely feels like the meta at the moment is a bit more focused towards like AoE myth units rather than like single target like this. But we'll have to see exactly how it plays out though. Definitely, I don't think In Denial has done enough economic damage towards Flacco. So I think Flacco's in the better position. The fact that he's been on 2 town centers for all this time, and you can see we got that there's a little bug that happens if I'm viewing In Denial, but I'm hovering over Flacco's building, so you get that kind of, you know, I apologize to all my all the viewers out there that have difficulty with that. I'm right there with you. Sensory issues. But we got Siege Tower on Siege Tower. In the backside, the Chariot Archer numbers building as the Crocodiles slowly work in a little bit of DPS as well. But the numbers are looking better and better here for In Denial, at least at this stage on this front. Chariot Archer numbers building. Meanwhile, let's check in over in the bases, just make sure we're not missing out anything. Doesn't look like it. We'll focus back again as the War Elephants go down. And let's check in with the economies, because as you can see, not only is that economic number starting to build here, but there is the potential that we could see Mythic Age coming in shortly. Keep in mind that In Denial is still on 1 town center, 1 base, hasn't opted for the second one, wasn't really able to do too much damage. You know, we mentioned the fact that we could tell he was a good player by seeing that he'd moved multiple units down towards this angle. We saw units that were running up towards this gold mine, and fortunately for Flacco, he hadn't taken it at that stage, so he didn't suffer any damage. But that villager count continues to build villager continues to build in favor of Flacco at the moment, up 25 workers. Now, keep in mind that you do typically reach a higher worker count sooner in Age of Mythology, just because the workers do train faster. But beautiful raid coming in. This could be exactly what In Denial needs to get back in the game. I'd love to see him pairing with this, taking a second town center, just to try and help out that economic side of things. Gets a little bit of damage in. Manages to take out 3 workers. That's going to be a 4th one. Also going to be copying a bit of damage. Oh, he's missed it. Laborer with 2 health left. Meanwhile, there it is. There's the second TC coming in. It's going to be down towards the south side. So instead of moving over towards this east side, he's going to favor towards this direction. Definitely makes a lot of sense. He could position himself to even look at going into a fourth TC at some point. The big damage coming in here, able to pick off workers with the one shot. There's the Pharaoh there. But towards the front side, it looks like we might have had a bit of a siege push coming through. A very popular unit, of course, the siege tower. But now we've got this is going to take me a while. Pesuchos. I'm gonna have to call Boyd and be like, Boyd, I need a pronunciation guide. Stat. Pistachios? No, not pistachios. I got to treat these unit names with respect. We can't be giving them the pistachio treatment. But infantry numbers going to start falling away here. Have a look at the military numbers here. 58 against 71. All of a sudden, it's looking like Flacco might be in a decent spot. The push continues to come to shove. Wadjet numbers are increasing together with the crocodiles, so a good number of myth units out here at the moment for In Denial. He's going to try his best to force this one out. He went early, but unfortunately the hold was decent, and now Flacco's just been enjoying life ever since. But the numbers are still looking decent. Needs to bring back these siege towers. Doesn't want to lose them in the thick of things, especially when he's still looking at rebuilding. When it comes to resources in the bank, we can see Flacco's got a lot of resources here. Could be looking towards that mythic age. More than 2,400 food still in here. Keep in mind that when you are training your Migdal stronghold units, I don't think the chariot archers cost any food. So that's part of the reason why you're going to be seeing that. And of course, you're not going to be paying any food for the siege towers. These guys, we've got wooden food for these ones. Let's check on the chariot. I just want to double check. Yeah, we've got wooden gold for these guys as well. But now the number's starting to look surprisingly good for In Denial. It for some reason, In Denial has this ability to just be constantly pushing in numbers, but there's no siege towers towards this front, which means it's going to be a slower, harder push to maintain. More siege towers coming up the rear, but I think we might have had it. We've crossed the threshold. We've got enough for it. Do we see the age up coming through here? There it is. He's going to be going into Horus. So that's going to enable him the Spear of Horus as one of his upgrades. So looking forward to seeing how he looks to utilize Horus here in the Mythic Age as he makes his way up. Age up time's about 60 seconds, if I remember correctly. Had a lot of idle villagers at the moment. You might have the villager lead, but I tell you right now, if you got 30 idols, there is no guarantee you're going to have a better economy than your opponent when you got that many idols. That is a lot of idols right now. And you can see just how tense this battle has been, constantly going back and forward between the two. Second town center is online. Third TC coming online. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he looks to potentially squeeze into this fourth settlement down here, as long as he's able to maintain this front. This is where it gets difficult, because now all of a sudden his opponent is going to be in the fourth age. Going to have access to a new line of upgrades from both the armory, as well as those just general line upgrades that you've got available to you. You know, talking about the, I think it's the champion level upgrades. I'll have to double check, because we've got heavy chariot archers at the moment, but I suspect that will become champion shortly. We'll have to check in with In Denial after the age up and see how he's doing, but 3 TCs is good. Keep in mind for all you Age of Empires 4 players that might be watching Age of Mythology Retold, sorry for that little skip. Sometimes I get excited and my body just breathes weird. That was one of those cases. But your maximum population is not 200 in this game. Your maximum population is tied to the amount of town centers you've got. The more TCs you've got, the more ability, or the higher ability you have to get more units. So we can already see up to 190 population here for In Denial. Flacco now going to be reaching the mythical age. Let's take a look and see what upgrades he looks to queue up here. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. Slowly trickling in more and more units. We can see that there's plenty of spearmen here. And there they are, the Avengers. Spin to win, baby. These guys are, I tell you what, these guys are great fun, especially up against non-mythic units. So like your human units, they are incredible. The amount of damage that these things can get in is something insane. But take a look at this on the south side of the map. Not only do we have, we've got some military production down here, but we've got slowly closing in on that settlement. Avenger beginning to move forward, about to spin it. Oh, there it is, the tornado. Looks to whip everything up. All of the chariots, poor chariots zooming around. Oh my gosh, where did we go? I don't know where we went, but chariots get thrown out, thrown to the ground, and that is going to be it for the army of In Denial. He is significantly overwhelmed at this stage, and you can see, wow, that was a pretty nice god power usage there. definitely a solid spot. But up towards the top side, it looks like we've got a Migdal Stronghold coming in for In Denial. Look at the response, though. He's going to go for a little bit of Ancestors and denies that completely. Now, keep in mind with your Ancestors, they're kind of like the Rus Kremlin Gremlins. They only last for a specific amount of time. They don't last forever. So you definitely want to try and utilize them as much as you can. Try and put pressure on the enemy once you've utilized them, or once you've got them out on the map. But you can see, yeah, about 60 seconds the Ancestors will last for. And it takes time for them to trickle in, but I think they all go down at the same time. But I am liking this position that's coming through. So I think for In Denial, the big thing would be getting a Migdal Stronghold in this area. Maybe looking to upgrade the town center to Fortified. And then from there, even looking to expand down here. Kind of curious to see whether he thinks about going into the Mythic Age himself. We can actually take a look from his perspective and see what he's got going on. And there it is. It is going to be the Mythic Age. So going to be also going up with Horus. Both players going to be focusing on that spin to win aspect. Meanwhile, third settlement is going to get taken by Flacco. This is going to mean that he can at least even up that maximum population count at this stage. Because In Denial, he's sitting on a slightly lower amount, but he does have the more settlements, the higher amount of settlements. But the advantage definitely feels like it is sitting at this stage with Flacco. And I think that's naturally something that we can kind of assume, right? Like, if you open with 2 TCs and you don't die, like, you should be rewarded. And that's what we're seeing now. That stronger economy is really coming through. But have a look at this, a little bit of a spearman raid on the west side of the map. Slowly that push is coming through, but I think that In Denial is trying to distract his opponent. Say, you know, don't attack me at the front, please. I'm trying to pull you back over here. But it looks like the villagers are going to be able to handle it. Meanwhile, what do we got here? We got he's trying his best to get this town center up, and you can see that it is taking damage from a single villager. He's struggling, but he will get it up. He does manage to outpace it eventually. Now more units going to be coming through. It looks like we've got some camel riders together with the chariot archers, also a couple of mercenary cav queued up in the town center. Meanwhile, that chariot mass just continues to climb. Now, one of the things that I've read is that people have an issue with visibility in this game. And I just want to remind you that I'm zoomed out to the moon. So we could be zoomed in like this, and we'd be absolutely fine on the visibility side of things, right? Like, I can see everything. The only issue is, and I've given this feedback already to the devs, I can zoom out to the moon, and I just kind of stay there, right? Like, I can see the entire map, and I don't mind it, but it makes it hard for you guys. So I apologize in advance if you do find me doing that. But there it is. It's going to be the tornado. It's the double tornado in the same game. 2 tornadoes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like we're living in, I don't know, Minnesota. I don't know. I'm trying to think of somewhere that's in Tornado Valley. Fitzbro lives in Ohio, but I feel like that's probably not it, because all I know is that, like, right in the middle of the states, there is just a Tornado Valley. I don't actually know what do you got in the middle of the states? Like, it's just a whole bunch of states that nobody knows. Sorry, I'm sorry to all of you Minnesotans. Where's Minnesota? I don't know. Oh Lord, I'm sorry. Apologies. I'm a little bit. What's the term? Oh, Avengers out. Coming now for In Denial. Let's see how much damage he can do. Spin to win. Comes in. Able to take out 3 of those human units. You can see the damage that's done there. Slowly being worked down, though. You can see the numbers. Chariots. Still quite low here. But a bit of a scrappy game starting to unfold. Now, both of them still on 3 settlements. That's another thing to note. So that max population isn't really going to change here. It's going to be I tell you what. Give me a second. I've got like a hair on my microphone, and every time I talk to my microphone, it's like it's tickling me a little bit, and it's like I can't focus. I think I got it. Either that or it's in my mouth, and now it's just going to make it 10 times worse. But I think we're good. I think we're in the clear here. So somehow, some way, In Denial is staying in this game. And if there's one way, it's got to be this. I feel like I'm playing Heroes of Newerth all over again. Like, we got Swiftblade on the field. He's just spinning around, spin to win. You love to see it. Now, secondary tornado usage is possible, but it's going to be a while off. 350 favor, and you want to be spending your favor on units. You want to try and get that immediate value from your favor. So second Avenger now coming out, but we can see it's going to be priests to respond to this. Priests should be able to deal pretty effectively here with the Avengers. Meanwhile, down towards the south side, it looks like walls are going to start coming up here. So I expect to see, there it is, the market. This is very natural, right? Whenever you see those walls coming up, you can almost expect to see a market behind it. Slowly working down these buildings over on the west side as well, with some villagers. But have a look at this, only going into copper weapons and copper armor right now. It's been a very delayed fight when it comes to this. In fact, we can actually check the upgrades on these. It's a little bit awkward. You can see he's only got the one upgrade at the moment. Let's compare that over to Flacco and see what he's running. And you can see that he's only got his copper upgrades as well, but he does have that heavy upgrade on his chariots. All right, well, neither of these players really looking to get the upgrades. And you got to remember, actually, with the upgrades, it's not a whole lot of extra damage that you're getting, right? Like, if you think about Age of Empires 4, when I get +1 ranged attack on my archers, that's a 20% increase in damage. Realistically here, you're looking at about a 10% increase in damage, and then it only just falls away from that with your upgrade. So it's a lot less important, I think. You're probably still going to have breakpoints that make a big difference, but overall, the focus is definitely going to be about just getting that extra unit out. All right, well, the farm's under attack here together with that town center. Second Migdol up on the backside. Keep in mind, if he does lose this town center, he will be losing that military or that extra population. He's on 205 at the moment, but he's only sitting at 114. So a pretty big difference between these two. Military numbers is the main one. You've got 80 military up against 8, and it just seems like a classic case of in denial, being in denial right now about the state of this game. He's trying his best to keep it together, but the town center will go down. The settlement goes back to neutral. And that leaves him in a bit of an awkward spot. 25 minutes into this game. He's looking to try and reroute attention down towards this southwest corner or this west corner of the map. He's got trade that's coming online. Not a decent amount of trade. 38 gold coming through because he's had to reroute to the main town center rather than this furthest one. You ideally want to get your longest town center or your furthest town center away. That's the one that you should be looking to focus on. Now, slowly and steadily, the overwhelming nature of Flacco's army becomes obvious. Ville's going to move in. I think he's going to try and snipe out this settlement or look to put his own Migdol down. You can see the Ville's coming up, looking to try and finish it off. He's in a wonderful spot here. I don't really see how In Denial brings this one back. Maybe through raiding. Maybe through, yeah, doing what he's doing down here, I think is probably going to be the best way. Maybe looking to try and get into the enemy base. Just be annoying, cause idle time. But there it is. That's going to be the 4th settlement now coming online here for Flacco. And it feels so good when you're in this position. You know, being able to take that 4th settlement, denying it from your enemy, it's just a huge swing because now he's sitting on a max of 190 pop. You're on 235, but just wait, there's more. That 235 about to turn into 270, I think it works out. And that's a massive difference, right? Like, you're talking about 20, 30, maybe 40 extra units, realistically, once that swing comes in. So there it is. So up to 260 pop now. And that's going to be the Migdol Stronghold falling down, almost guaranteeing that Flacco has managed to hold this position. Let's ride on board, though, and that's going to be it. In Denial has finally surrendered, resigning to his opponent, Flacco. Able to take the game there. Very well played, and what a great game there. Flacco demonstrating some prowess in this game on the Egyptians, playing as set. Let's check in and have a look at that post-game and take a look at, of course, the most important thing, all resources gathered. So, oh, that's actually not what I thought. Is this all resources in the bank? I think this might be. Let's quickly jump back to view map. Yeah, it is. So you can see Flacco right here with 8K resources. So that right there is, we want all resources gathered. There you go. All right, so you can see the difference in the 2TC. It does eventually pay off, but it takes a lot of time to get there. So eventually we do get there. You can see both players, even at like the 10-minute marker, are still pretty similar. Here, we've got... Yeah, we've got that second TC finally getting ahead around the 11-minute mark. But then if we jump back over to our military units, you can see the hold was pretty decent there from Flacco. So I think he utilized the animals of set quite well. Even though I was a bit fearful about how easily he gave them away in this little fight right here, I think it was enough just to kind of force his opponent back. And in the end, once that push was held and no eco damage was done, it almost felt like the deal was sealed from that point. Anyways, we'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Thank you for your patience. We'll get there eventually. And anyway, we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.